Karine unfortunately worked for the most incompetent president in history, so I guess she has a reason to be, but being will not sell you books, Jesse.
Is Peter Doocy one of those good reporters? Are you sure?
Look, Peter's a good guy. We have our tussles with Peter, too. No mistakes there.
All right. Thank you so much.
And it's a stark contrast to what they had over the past 4 years, where they were gaslit, where they were told Joe Biden was mentally stable and up for the job. That was a lie. Where they were told the administration was doing everything it could to secure the border. Also a lie. I'm very proud to work for the greatest president in history.
Caroline Leavitt has once again fired back at former White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre as their feud intensifies. This time, Caroline's jab came after KJP took offense to a joke she made about Obama. But Leavitt didn't just respond. She hit back hard, delivering a sharp rebuttal that left an impact. Let's break it down.
Someone who can't find work is the same person who had your job about a year ago. We call her Binder. KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre. You, I guess, had made a joke about, it was like your mama joke, and she didn't like that. This is what she said. Roll it.
It's deplorable. And I'm using that word on purpose. Yeah. Because they don't seem to understand, this is the Trump White House, that they don't work for just one man. Yeah. They work for the American people. The White House press secretary is not about doing online trolling. Right. It is not. It is an honor and a privilege to have that job.
So that's how Karine Jean-Pierre chose to spin it, calling Caroline Leavitt's harmless joke deplorable and brushing her off as just another troll. KJP claimed Leavitt wasn't acting like a serious White House press secretary, accusing her of wasting time on petty online drama and political jabs. But that's where things took a turn, because Caroline didn't stay silent. True to her style, she clapped back with a bold and razor-sharp response that flipped the narrative completely. And once you hear what she said, you'll see exactly why this feud is far from over. Here's how Caroline answered.
She called you deplorable, and you said?
Well, with all due respect to my predecessor, she is one of the main of the greatest cover-up and scandal in American history. She took the podium every day and lied to the press about the incompetence of her boss. And on this book tour, she continues to lie. She said this past week that Joe Biden would still be up for the job if he had, God forbid, been reelected in November. She actually said this week as well on a podcast that Joe Biden did more press engagements than President Trump currently does now. Any person across the aisle can tell you that is a bald-faced lie.
Caroline didn't pull any punches. She went straight after Karine Jean-Pierre, accusing her of playing a key role in what she called the biggest cover-up in American history. According to Caroline, that cover-up was all about hiding President Biden's declining mental health during the final months of his presidency. Now, that more people are admitting what was really happening behind closed doors, she says KJP is still clinging to the lie, pretending everything was fine. Even as evidence piles up, Jean-Pierre continues to claim Biden was fully alert and in control, a story that's getting harder to sell by the day. Questions about whether Biden personally reviewed or approved those last-minute pardons only add to the growing doubt. Caroline's point couldn't be clearer. KJP isn't defending the truth, she's defending the illusion. And the public is finally starting to see through it. But Caroline wasn't.
I will just add, when you talk to the real journalists, not the ones who are actually activists that pose as journalists, but the people who actually care about truth, and there are some of those left in the White House press corps. I work with them every day. They will tell you the Trump White House is the most accessible and transparent White House ever. Not only does the president take questions from the press on a near daily basis, multiple times per day, as he did today, but we also provide truthful and accurate information about what this administration is doing and accomplishing.
Caroline didn't flinch at KJP's jab. She flipped it right back. After being dismissed as a troll, she used the insult as fuel, pointing out that the White House she serves under is far more open and transparent than it ever was under Karine Jean-Pierre. Caroline stressed that accountability has returned, saying reporters now have real access and honest answers instead of carefully scripted talking points. She went even further, praising President Trump for setting that tone, a leader who isn't afraid to face tough questions head-on. In contrast, she argued, Biden's team avoided scrutiny and limited press engagement whenever possible. As Caroline put it, the difference is night and day. A press corps that's finally heard, a president who actually speaks, and a press secretary who doesn't hide behind excuses. It was bold, direct, and impossible to ignore, a response that hit exactly where it needed to.
And it's a stark contrast to what they had over the past 4 years, where they were gaslit, where they were told Joe Biden was mentally stable and up for the job. That was a lie. Where they were told the administration was doing everything it could to secure the border. Also a lie. I'm very proud to work for the greatest president in history.
Yeah, I remember when Biden and Kamala Harris kept assuring everyone that the southern border was secure. They said it with such confidence you almost wanted to believe them, until the truth came out. More than 1 million illegal immigrants crossed under their watch, exposing how false those claims really were. And that wasn't the only cover-up of the Biden era. The Hunter Biden laptop scandal, one of the biggest political controversies of the decade, was brushed aside, censored, and labeled Russian disinformation until it could no longer be denied. So when Caroline Leavitt calls out Karine Jean-Pierre and the administration for lacking honesty with the American people, she's not exaggerating. She's holding them accountable for years of deception, denial, and misinformation. And frankly, it's about time someone did.
Karine unfortunately worked for the most incompetent president in history, so I guess she has a reason to be bitter, but being bitter will not sell you books, Jesse.
Is Peter Doocy one of those good reporters? Are you sure?
Look, Peter's a good guy. We have our tussles with Peter, too. No mistakes there.
All right. Thank you so much.
Caroline didn't hold back. She flat out called Karine Jean-Pierre bitter, saying it's no surprise given that KJP once served under what she described as one of the most incompetent presidents in U.S. history, and that jab hit hard. What makes it more interesting is how well Caroline Leavitt is doing in her new role. She's earning praise for her confidence, sharp responses, and composure under pressure, a clear contrast to her predecessor. Caroline even hinted that KJP's bitterness might come from a touch of envy. After all, watching your successor excel where you once struggled can sting. Maybe that's why KJP seems so determined to tear her down. One thing's for sure, this feud isn't about policy anymore. It's personal, and Caroline isn't backing down anytime soon. But she's not the only one calling KJP out. Here's what Megyn Kelly had to say.
She's still a lying liar who lies. She calls herself an independent. Why? She's very mad at the Democrat Party for not backing Joe Biden all the way through to the presidential election. What a farce. She was part of the cover-up. She knows damn well he couldn't have done it. She was part of the reason that they had to scramble to replace him in, June, July of 2024. But the lying as she's promoting this book about how she had no idea, she didn't see him on the plane ride over to the debate, so she just wasn't near him, as if it was just a one-night thing and she just missed it in the lead up. And then secondly, she's getting guff from Democrats for being such a turncoat. And the subtitle of the book is, it's independent, that insiders look at the White House. So people are giving her a hard time, like, you're such a turncoat. The Democrat Party made you. The only reason people know your name is because of this party you're ripping on. Why would you betray, like the Bidens too, by giving the insiders account of the White House? And she actually is peddling the lie.
Megyn Kelly didn't pull any punches in her take on Karine Jean-Pierre. She flat out called her a turncoat. According to Kelly, KJP has shown zero gratitude to the very party that made her a national figure. Before stepping into the role of White House press secretary, few outside political circles even knew her name. Yet, the Democratic Party elevated her to one of the most high-profile positions in the country and stood by her through repeated communication blunders and public missteps. But instead of showing loyalty or appreciation, KJP walked away and later started revealing insider details about life inside the Biden White House. To Kelly, that wasn't bravery, it was betrayal. She sees Jean-Pierre's behavior as someone biting the very hand that fed her, turning political failure into a self-serving publicity tour.
Are the Democrats jealous that Trump's building this big, beautiful ballroom?
It certainly appears that way, Jesse, and I believe there's a lot of fake outrage right now because nearly every single president who has lived in this beautiful White House behind me has made modernizations and renovations of their own. And in fact, presidents for decades in the modern time have quipped about how they wish they had a larger event space here at the White House that can hold hundreds more people than the current East Room and state dining rooms can. In fact, President Obama notably complained that during his tenure, he had to hold a state visit on the South Lawn and get a very expensive tent.
Exactly. That's the Democrat double standard on full display. When they do something, it's called bold or progressive. But when Donald Trump does the exact same thing, it's instantly labeled reckless or unpresidential. Take the new White House Event Center project, for instance. Presidents from both parties had discussed expanding space for state events for years. Nobody complained then. But the moment Trump actually moves forward and makes it happen, the outrage machine suddenly fires up. Critics start whining about costs, motives, and optics, conveniently ignoring that the same proposal was once celebrated. It's the same pattern every time. If a Democrat does it, it's historic progress. If Trump does it, it's a national scandal. The hypocrisy couldn't be clearer.
If you talk to journalists who have covered the White House for decades, as I do here every single day, they will also tell you that administration after administration have publicly and privately spoken about the need for a larger event space. So while many presidents have privately dreamt about this, it's President Trump who is actually doing something about it. And he is the builder in chief. In large part, he was reelected back to this people's house because he's good at building things.
Donald Trump won the presidency because millions of Americans believed he could bring back the nation's lost strength to make America strong, proud, and prosperous again. They saw in him a no-nonsense businessman who could rebuild the economy, protect American jobs, and revive industries that Washington had ignored for decades. And to his credit, Trump's first term delivered real, visible change. From his ambitious infrastructure investment plan to upgrades at major airports like LaGuardia and O'Hare, rural broadband expansion, modernization of highways, and the construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall. Every project reflected his promise to rebuild America's foundation. So when re-election time came, his supporters weren't just backing a candidate. They were defending a movement, one built on restoration, resilience, and a renewed pride in American progress.
Construction is a process at the end. The East Wing, which is an entirely separate structure from the executive mansion you see behind me, will be more modern and beautiful than ever. And then on top of that, the White House is going to have a big, beautiful ballroom for generations of Americans to come. And the best part of it all, it's not a dime of the taxpayers' money. The president has worked hard to privately fund this entire project from start to finish.
You'd think the fact that the project is being privately funded would silence the critics, but of course, it hasn't. They're still out there accusing President Trump of destroying the White House and disrespecting tradition. But here's the irony, this isn't a vanity project. It's a long overdue upgrade designed to benefit every future president, Republican or Democrat. The new facilities will modernize outdated infrastructure, create space for official events, and strengthen security, all things any administration would value. Yet because it's Trump leading the charge, the outrage machine spins it as reckless. In truth, it's about preservation and progress, not ego or destruction. History may well remember it as a smart, forward-thinking move that future leaders will quietly thank him for. As for the feud between Caroline Leavitt and Karine Jean-Pierre, it's evolved far beyond a political spat. It's a clash of legacies. On one side stands Caroline, confident, transparent, and unapologetically direct. On the other, KJP, defensive, bitter, and still shadowed by the failures of the Biden era. Add Megyn Kelly's sharp critique into the mix, and the cracks inside the Democratic establishment are impossible to ignore. What started as a war of words has become a test of credibility, and right now, Caroline is winning. Her clarity, energy, and results speak louder than excuses. The public's noticing. So is Washington. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fearless commentary. Thanks for watching.